on more literal levels, it is said that retrogrades are not the time to start something new. This is especially true with Mercury retrograde because Mercury is so much about the small moments of our day as we move through life. It's about commerce, it's about shopping, decision-making, communication, what we're thinking, what we're speaking, what we're understanding from others, what we're understanding about what we need, whether it is what we need to do, what we need to acquire, what we feel are our choices. Thing with Mercury retrograde that is especially promising is the ways in which people, places, situations, opportunities from the past or that we thought were gone, that we thought, we'd had our shot and it was done and it was over. It's those very people, situations, opportunities that feel like they might come back around in sometimes uncanny ways. Now, how Mercury going retro will speak to you in your sign depends on your sun, moon, and rising. Take all three into consideration. Synthesize the information to make it unique to you. And there's lots more horoscopes available right now over on my YouTube channel, Nadiya_Shah, and in the superstar space at thefutureismagical.com. Aries, Mercury going retro in a worldly part of your sky having to do with long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, legal matters. Well, it's all of this that might be wonky. It's all of this that might feel as if just where you know where you're going, figuratively or literally in this case, well, things just might change in some cases very quickly, especially in the next couple of weeks. For all that though, remember, this is about you reconsidering and understanding with greater nuance where you stand in your relationship with the world itself. And that is a deeply personal, philosophical thing. You don't need to have all the answers where it comes to that understanding, but the exploration itself will be well rewarded. Taurus, profound change, truth, transformation, regeneration, and wealth. This is a particularly intense part of your sky, and it can feel very consequential. Now, having Mercury go retrograde here can have it feel like those things that you knew to be true, those things that made you feel very connected to what it is to authentically be yourself, well, they're all up for reconsideration, or in some way, what you thought was true, it just turns on its head and you think maybe that isn't so. It really is not the time to make big financial decisions in particular, and there might be a sense that there are some delays where it comes to things like benefit payments or commission checks, but all of that will be cleared because when you do have such strong financial energy, it means that the money is there. You're engaging spiritual lessons towards feeling that much more like it is within your grasp. Gemini, partnerships of all kind, whether it's romantic partnership or business alliance. Here's the thing with Mercury retrograde here. If there are established alliances in your life, whatever decisions and choices you think are playing out, well, you just might change your mind, or they might change your mind. Misunderstandings become that much more likely, and breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up with Mercury retrograde in this part of your sky. For all that, if you are open to meeting new people, know that the people you meet and what you think it is right out of the gate at the start and what it ends up being might be two very different things. It might end up being even better than you anticipate or not. Regardless, if you feel inspired towards walking a journey with someone brand new, allow yourself the flexibility to know that, yeah, things might look different, and that's okay. Cancer, clients, customers, coworkers, the type of work you're doing, the people who surround you, but also the places you frequent day in and day out, as well as your health-related habits and your sense of well-being. So this part of the sky is so rich in terms of where life actually occurs. So there are things here about, well, misunderstandings, one step forward, two steps back with assignments that you're doing, thinking that there's a certain project that needs to be carried out a certain way, and then it ends up being turned on its head and becomes something else. And those miscommunications with the clients, customers, coworkers in your life become that much more likely. Where you want to be careful with this especially is where it comes to health-related testing. Whatever you think it is, whatever answers seem to be there, well, it just might be the case that there is a need for a do-over, right? Because misdiagnoses become possible for you at this time and in the weeks ahead. Whatever might be happening now, just know that it might take, as you move into December, to really clear things up, to really understand where you stand, which might actually be way better than you anticipated once you get there. Leo, romance, flirtation, what the heart wants in every area of life. Gambling and windfalls are covered here as well. So you can imagine with Mercury retrograde here, and especially right out of the gate with the retrograde beginning hand in hand with Mars, not the time for gambling if you can help it, because there's just going to be a lot of high stakes energy, lots of adrenaline, yes, but Mars itself can lend itself to a lot going out. So just pace yourself as you navigate this time. But dumb luck becomes very possible with Mercury retrograde here. And of course, because this has to do with romance, flirtation, you are getting your flirt on. People that might have been lovers to you or you might have dated in the past might come back around in uncanny ways. Whether or not that means moving forward with them is besides the point. It really is you seeing or having another look at someone who you thought could have been a possibility before and deciding whether or not it's worth the effort now. Virgo, home, the past, your living situation, your family of origin, and your parents where that applies. So random family reunions where you least expected it become that much more likely now. Home becoming a space that's especially busy can happen also. Now, I would also add, if you have a home-based business or you work with homes, this can be a time of opportunities that you thought were gone, coming back around in some way, or a reconnection, a renewal of past projects or clients coming into the mix. Regardless, the deeper implication here is to understand what home is for you that much more deeply. And where it is that you're able to find a way to communicate that, to express that, well, you'll find yourself feeling that much more well-rooted in where home is now. Libra, siblings, cousins, neighbors, there are likely to be lots of random new interactions with these types of people in your life where you least expected it. And there tends to be an overall sense of busyness in your local community, in your immediate environment at this time. But for all that, this part of the sky also has to do with learning and communication. And if anybody out there is likely to find communication going wonky, where you think you understand something one way, but it is actually something very different, well, all of that becomes possible at this time. So just pace yourself and provide yourself with grace, knowing that perhaps you're not getting things as intended, and it really is okay because the time for clarity will come in due course. Scorpio, money you earn, money you spend, self-love and self-esteem. There's going to be a focus on earning and spending, and maybe some feelings of uncertainty or disconnect around what's worth doing for money and what isn't. If anybody out there is likely to spend and then realize afterwards that you change your mind, it really is you. So just be aware of that if you are buying things, that there's a good return policy in place, because whether it is that you just change your mind and you realize it isn't what you want, or whether it is that you realize you actually need something different, well, these are the types of scenarios that can play out at this time. At the same time, this part of the sky having to do with healthy self-love, healthy self-esteem, this might be a moment where you're revisiting these matters to find a greater sense of connection and a firm rootedness and an understanding of what healthy self-love is going to be for you. Sagittarius, identity, who you know yourself to be, what matters to you most and first. Just when you think you know what that is, it just might get turned on its head. Just when you think you know who you are, it might end up taking you in different directions that you didn't expect until you find yourself back at the beginning. Now, that beginning moment is likely going to come once we get into December, because this first 10 days of this retrograde happen with Mercury retrograde in your sign. The second 10 days will be in the sign before yours. And that's where Mercury will go direct next month in December, re-entering your sign. That is going to be a big light bulb moment once we get there into December with that re-entry of Mercury. That's when whatever's happening now, you just might see it so differently, including what it is that you believe you are really wanting, what it is that you believe truly matters. It might not be what you think it is right now. So just be patient with yourself, provide grace for yourself, because you're always allowed to change your mind and change your mind about your self-concept and who you are. Capricorn, soul, psyche, spirit. It's about what's happening on those unconscious levels, those imaginative levels. Now, there might be some very profound, deep symbolism to what's taking place in the dream space that you are going to want to pay attention to. But outside of that, though, this is about fortunate karmic closures and karmic blessings as well. Some of the best stuff with this retrograde is going to feel like it reappears seemingly out of nowhere, but also where it is that perhaps there's been a little bit of stop and go, where it comes to an area where you know some sense of healthy closure needs to take place. Well, you might find this a time when you're re-examining more deeply what that's going to look like for you. Ultimately, this part of the sky is about connecting with a knowing that you have so much more yet to do in this lifetime. And you really do. Keep that at the forefront as you navigate a time where some of the best stuff is just going to find you. Aquarius, friendships and group dynamics, returns to, reunions with, recommunications with friends from the past. Friends of the present becomes very possible here now. But what also is possible is that you are reconsidering your role within a group, maybe invited to come back to contribute to a professional group endeavor. These are some possible scenarios that might be transpiring for you at this time. But for all that, this is about you understanding your connection to that larger whole. Whether it is through social situations and gathering with others, or whether it is a larger understanding of humanity itself, there are lots of people around you, lots of ways in which you can connect to a feeling of community, knowing not only that you're not alone, but there's a lot of support available to you. Pisces, career, social standing, life purpose, your understanding of a higher, more loving vision for your life and the bosses in your life as well. If anybody out there is going to feel like there was an opportunity and it went away and it was big and you really wanted it and it didn't pan out, and it's that opportunity that in some way comes back around, it might not be identical, but it might actually be better than it was before. It certainly is you. Random reunions with previous bosses, people in positions of authority to you, become that much more likely now as well. Regardless, understand that whatever opportunities come to advance, for promotion, for alignment with career goals, what you think it is and what it actually ends up being might be very different once it is that we navigate into December and a direct Mercury returns to this part of your sky. And so be patient with yourself as you navigate this time. It is very possible that whatever it is that you think the opportunity is now, it could end up being even better than you anticipated. Well, thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.